Tumishang. Alrighty.
We good?
Okay.
Okay, are we ready, Map?
I don't need shades.
Been recording.
Okay.
Do I need shades?
Tumishang, it's a podcast. You can't wear
But
shades.
shades are so cool though.
You can wear it in the beginning, but then you have to
Where
take
are
it off.
Yeah. DK, baby.
Where are they?
DK. Baby, think
I don't
fast.
know. Okay.
Did I leave them in your room?
You know
I
what?
don't have to-
Everyone, like...
Okay, 5. Baby.
And Tumishang, wait, remember to look not into the monitor, into the camera.
Yeah,
So
like-
when we're speaking, we can look at each other, but then into the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm
guys,
starting.
Start.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of As You Are. Unfortunately, we're not into season 2 yet, but we are wrapping up season 1 since I didn't do it last year, but we're getting into today. And for once, I am not leading the conversations, darlings. I have my beautiful friend Tumishang. You guys have met him here. Oh well, it's not Tumishang, it's Alexandra Lofty.
Nah, we gotta
from
do
what I
that trick
remember.
again, cause to me, that's crazy. That's crazy, boy. You gotta do this shit again.
But
Yeah.
you'll know who
Alexander
he is.
Lofty,
Oh,
man.
Alexander Lofty. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Wait, you
know
gonna keep
what?
that? Yo, you gotta cut that out.
No,
man.
we're not
Oh,
cutting
my God, man.
anything.
Cut that out, man. Alexander Lofty. Look at
Alexander Lofty.
Alexander-
I'll put it in on screen and do
fun,
everything
yeah.
because Tumishang thinks he runs the
Yeah.
show and I work
Yeah.
for him.
For today.
But for today,
Yeah.
so the plot twist of today is Tumishang is actually going to interview me
Yes,
about last year, starting the podcast,
Yes,
2024, and just to see where I'm going to be in 2025 in terms of the podcast, content creation, and everything live. So,
sir.
Tumishang, it's
Thank you.
over
Yes.
to you.
You gotta add some dramatic music to this when I get in.
Okay, I'm not at that advanced level yet, but yeah,
Makes
one
sense.
day eventually.
Makes sense. So, Nabil,
Hi.
here you are, season finale of your
Yes.
very, very, how do you say this? A show that you've basically given birth to.
Yes.
Right? A show that's still in its infancy, can you say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
still in the
so-
very beginning stages.
But like looking back now, how
Yeah.
do you feel about the past season?
I feel really good about it. I think me deciding to do this was a long time coming. I didn't know the concept of what it would be. But now that I have it and I started it and I did like a season, it feels like it was my purpose.
Okay.
You know, I think I've always wanted to share things, and I think it was a matter of finding the right platform, finding the right way to convey the messages and the stories that I would like to tell.
Yeah.
So when I look back at it, I'm really proud of myself. But in the same breath, I think I'm also a bit disappointed that I wasn't consistent and I didn't do what I needed to do to grow it at where it needed to be. But I think that's the early stages of any project. There's going to be your trials and errors. But other than that, I'm really happy with the people that I had on and the conversations that I had. I felt like they were impactful. And I think a lot of the time I needed the advice that the next person was
guests were giving
giving.
you, yeah,
And also
yeah.
I think me speaking on certain things and speaking that into life helped me while helping someone else.
But like you mentioned, like disappointments. What disappointment aside from consistency? Because
Yeah.
we all know we all struggle from that. But like, what about consistency? Do you feel like you kind of like let your foot off the gas a little bit? Like
I think with every aspect of my life, I think in 2024...
every aspect.
Yeah, I think...
That's a
no,
lot.
like it's a lot,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
I think I just started... it felt like I was going back in my life. So it was like I would take 5 steps forward and take 10 steps back. So it's like if I'm going through something or I'm feeling like I lost my spark, it takes me a very long time to get back. And I think with me kind of going back into my old coping mechanisms, which were not healthy, it saddens me that I find myself now and last year back in those places.
Back in those places. But I feel
Yeah.
like that's very important for like anybody who's watching this and wants to go into content creation. Because look at it from this perspective. If you're now saying your consistency was something that you were battling with, and all the other stuff that you mentioned that
Yeah.
like were necessarily not so good for you, what would you say then for you personally, looking back? What were the not so good things that you're willing to share, just so you can resonate with everybody that's watching you?
The not so good things I think would be doubting myself. I think I've really worked hard to get to this place of working on who I am and what I stand for and who I'm about. And last year, I just started questioning myself. I think there were instances where someone did something to me and said I'm like this or I'm like that, and it made me question myself. I allowed people to take me back into a place that I worked so hard to crawl myself out of. And I think even just with not listening to what I needed and putting other people's needs and wants above my own.
Man, oh man.
And that was something that like I had to come to terms with is I still have a lot of people pleasing tendencies. And unfortunately, if you want to make it and you want to be as consistent or do these amazing things, you are going to have to be selfish.
Yeah, I think, yeah. And in a sense, also, not to cut you off, but in a
Yeah.
sense, people pleasing in this industry, I think it's a problem for a lot of artists, because at the same time, you want to create content that's really relatable to other people, but also at the same time, you want to be liked. Because
Yeah.
who doesn't want to be liked? Especially when you're still starting out. I mean, you're starting out a podcast. You want people to watch.
Yeah.
You want people to click that subscribe button.
Yeah.
But people only click that when they like you. So what do you
Yeah.
have to do as a content creator? You have to make people like you.
Yeah.
But also, just to take it back, the make people like you part has to also come
Be
from
authentic.
you. Exactly. It has to come from
Yeah.
you and the type of content. That's why they say you fake it till you make it. Then after that, your core audience still remains. But before that,
Yeah. And also you want to build the right core audience. You don't want just anyone coming here because if I am not authentic from the jump and then eventually where I'm like, okay, I'm tired of doing this. I just want to be myself. I didn't attract the right audience. So it's very tricky, but for me, I don't even think it was about content creation. I think this had to do with my personal life. And my personal life has affected my work life a lot.
trickled in.
Yeah, so everything
Because-
has like a ripple effect.
Of course.
So for me is if you kind of gauge on social media, if I'm not active on TikTok, Instagram or YouTube, like no platform, just know I'm going through it.
It's doing this.
Or if I'm consistent on YouTube and I'm not consistent on my others, it's kind of like life is really busy. But I think I've just allowed myself to slip in many ways. And that is a sad reality that I am facing now. Even while sitting here, I sometimes feel like I don't deserve certain things, or I feel like I'm not good enough. And it comes from a place where I thought I've worked on that and I'm good, but I've learned that it's a lifelong journey, and even though you have setbacks,
It's a
you
marathon.
can always find your way back.
Yeah, it's a marathon. So
Yeah.
basically, what we can say is, looking back, you've kind of like identified. Okay, I did this and I went through this, and can we now say you confidently know how to move forward?
I would say I do have the tools that I've learned, not just from the experience, but I've learned from therapy. I think for me, it's a matter of...
So you're in therapy.
I've been in therapy,
damn.
but I've learned a lot of skills through therapy.
Shout out. Okay.
But I think it's a matter of implementation, because there's no use speaking about what you're going to do and constantly planning on what you're going to do, and never sitting down or doing the things that you said that you sought out to do. So for me, it's like, I don't want to speak about, I want to do this. I mean, you need to have a strategy and you need to have a plan for your life, for your career, for a lot of things. But I think it's a matter of sometimes we're talking too much and we're not actually doing the work. And that's what I realized. I'm not doing the work. So I cannot expect to see the results if I'm continuously just laying around or moping around when I'm going through it, because life is gonna life. Life gonna be lifing till the end of time. And that was something that
Who's the host of this thing?
to
What's going on? I think you're preaching there, man. What's going on? Hallelujah. Yeah. Okay, but I see you. So now that you've seen your past mistakes in terms of the show and what
Yeah.
you shouldn't do, what you should do now. We're looking forward now. What can we expect
Yes.
from season 2 of your life and of the show?
I think let me go to the show part first. The show part, I feel like I'm much more confident sitting back here because we've done a few episodes.
Yes.
It's not my first rodeo. So
No.
I feel very
Yeah.
I feel very comfortable and I feel like I am ready to be more open.
Yeah.
I think I also was nervous to be open. So a lot of people would think that I was open, but I think I was also just holding certain things back. Number one, I was protecting myself because I didn't know if I wanted to share certain things, whether it's
world
about
is
my
a scary
personal life or
place.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think I'm in more of a place where I'm more comfortable now
Okay.
with what I've created and the platform that I have.
Okay.
So I think I'm ready to be more vulnerable and ready to share my day-to-day struggles with people because I think it will be beneficial to everyone to
Someone out there watching.
yeah, and I think it's easy to see, like, Instagram, social media is a highlight reel.
Yeah.
You see the good of people and you rarely hear the come up story. Like, I recently heard this hot take about, like, Grace Mondlana and how, like,
Shout
she
out to
just,
Grace.
yeah, she just got it and she did this. But people don't realize and people don't see the building phase. It's easy for people to say, yeah, she rocketed on social media right now, but you don't know the work that went into that, whether it's in a personal capacity, whether that was in her building her work or doing whatever, people don't know. So I want to break that line of what people perceive and them seeing me for a real person. Because I think a lot of times we see content creators and we see people online and we forget that this is a real person going through real things. And that makes us connect with each other and build on that.
So basically, that's the work part of it.
Yes.
Now, what about your personal life?
My personal life, what do I want to work?
Like basically, we look back, right?
Yeah.
So now we're looking forward. So I'm saying, what can we look forward to in your personal life now? What are you looking to change? What are you looking to do?
Um,
Burying
I feel
yourself
like-
in your work.
I feel like my work is my personal life. So
But you have to be careful not to merge them. Remember.
I know.
'Cause that's what you went through.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think with my personal life, I definitely want to be intentional about resting.
Taking it
But
easy.
the difference with me is sometimes I can be going through something and I wouldn't be doing anything, but that does not necessarily mean I'm resting because my mind is not at ease.
It's race.
So it's racing. My body's not peaceful. It's not restful. So I think I want to focus more onto getting myself at a good peace of mind every day and focusing to some extent on my mental health so that I'm able to have the capacity to take on the amazing work that I do because my mental health directly affects my
Your work,
creativity
yeah,
and
yeah.
my work.
But I feel like
So-
every single thing that you've mentioned literally is what your podcast is all about, as you are. So basically, you're coming out, you're like saying to the world, look, this is what it is, this
Yeah.
is who I am,
Yeah.
and this is how I'm bringing it forward.
Yeah.
But then, since now you've explained to us, basically, the back, you've taken us through, and now we're going
Forward. So what's the
forward.
plan forward?
That's fine. But now, how would you then say, when looking at your show, just your show,
Okay.
how would you then say you want this baby to be like? How can you shape it? Just in a few words, though. We don't want like a whole enchilada. Just take us through.
Like where I wanted to see
what
it, like
you
at the
want-
end.
Yes, I want to know what you want your show to be. Give it shape.
For me, I would definitely want it to be remembered or to be seen as a safe place ultimately. If I can put it into simple and plain terms, is I want this space to be a safe space and I want it to be a space where people never could share certain things and now they're hearing from me or my guests
Yeah.
on certain things that maybe they were scared to say out loud because then it makes it real.
Yeah.
So I think it's a sense of making it a safe space, but also giving people and showing people the tools on how to move forward from that.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to know what you're going through and to be aware, but what are the steps forward? And I think I also just want to grow the podcast. I mean, I hopefully one day would like to have a partnership with Spotify.
Oh.
and have a live
Name drop.
have a live production
Yeah.
and with my other businesses hopefully and have it like all come to light and it being a full circle moment for me because I shy away from saying like I'm an entrepreneur, but I think that that's my calling.
That's what you are.
So,
As you are.
Yeah. So I really wanna take it to that next level, and I know that I'm gonna need to put in the work.
Okay. That's cool. Well, I mean, like I said, for me, you've basically just highlighted everything. I feel like the show in itself, everybody that's watching now is probably going to understand. And for me, it's been an absolute honor. These were a couple of questions that I feel like were very beneficial to you to know. And we're going to hold you accountable because we have all the evidence.
We have video
of
proof
what you want the
and
show to
soundproof.
be. Yeah, what you want the show to be, what you want the show to look like, what you want yourself to look like, your mental health and everything. So I'm happy for you, and I'm absolutely looking forward to what you can make of this podcast.
Yeah.
So if you have any words to share with your audience, just
so
let it rip right now. Just
I
let them know what to expect.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I really want people, like to expect, especially. So we're gonna be back filming for season 2. Season 2 is coming. My manager and I have done the planning, and I'm really comfortable on where we at. So you can expect that, like quite soon.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy for people to keep on this journey with me. You know, I think it's really special and it really means a lot to me I just went to a high school thing recently and someone that I went to school with was like, oh my God, your podcast. And like that warms my heart because sometimes you forget the work that you do. So yeah, we're going to be back soon and I'm going to be back on socials. I know I've been gone for long. The beauty content is coming back. The lifestyle content is coming back on TikTok and on YouTube. Things might also take another turn. There might be other content coming, not only related to the podcast or vlogs.
Yeah.
There might be other content. You can kind of guess what it is. You know my niches. I'm giving you a little bit of a clue.
They see you.
So we'll be back.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to the lovely Nabil. Shout out to me, of course, because I would like to thank me.
I would really like to thank Dumishang. Like, I was very last minute with calling him to come, and I'm really grateful that he came. And Alexander Lofty. Sorry! I keep forgetting.
We can wrap this up.
It's people with
As you
stage
are,
names.
Podcast with Nabil. Thank you very much.
Find
for
us on socials at Nabil Nicholas on all social
Lofty.
media platforms.
Exactly. Alexander Lofty, you know what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
See you guys soon.
Shout out, guys.
Bye,
Boom.
besties.
It's Alexander Lofty.